You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Under the Gun After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Under the Gun After Show.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Under the Gun, Benefit of Fashion. That's episode 11. I'm your host tonight, Virginia Reyna Dunne.
Hey guys, it's Ayoung-Chee.
What's up? It's Amanda Fields.
Hey, I'm Stef Z.
Hey, Michelle Uberreste.
Yeah, so we got a full house tonight. I think this is probably going to be the only time this whole season we're all going to be here. But yay, you have all of us. Okay, so I just knew by the name of the episode that it was going to be a benefit thing. I mean, after the crazy Glade thing we had, you know, it could only be benefit, but I love benefit cosmetics. So I was excited to see this one. And we had real live models, not models, which Amanda, I'm sure, will chime in on that.
Yes. Real women.
Real women.
Yes.
We're all real women. You're a real woman,
Meaning,
Amanda.
can models be real women too? I'm like,
I mean,
I'm a real person.
Do you really want to go there?
I know. Do you want to start? I mean, let's go down that road.
Just let's do it.
But I love all women. Like, I mean, come on, all the different shapes and sizes and height differences. It's
Just
beautiful.
as much as you were saying they were real women, you picked apart every single one of them. The way they stood, the way they walked, the way they.
Hey, I pick apart the models too. I give them equal,
You do.
opportunity. Yes.
But I think what they mean when they say real or normal is the average. Like you happen to be, and this is going to be a compliment. So hear it. Okay. You happen to be in a percentage of women that like women look up to perfection. Like you're fit, you're tall, you're pretty, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff. So you get to do that. So
Well,
what I'm saying is they were taking more quote unquote average women that aren't models.
Well, and it's because, you know, you're like everything looks good on you. There is, I mean, it's true. And so for us women who are a little bit more curvy, it's more challenging for us, but it's also more challenging for the designers. So, you know, that's why this episode gets good.
And it's exciting to see, actually.
It is.
Yes.
And I love when they do it where they're like, you know, doing something like the lady that lost 50 pounds. I mean, even when I lose 10 pounds, I'm like, heck yeah, you know, I look so much better in my clothes. So, you know, being able to do that for these women is a really good, or, you know, like I want to be more flirty. Well, we'll get to that.
I think it's really empowering, and the whole women movement is very powerful right now, especially with social media. People are able to portray themselves in a different light. So watch out, Amanda. You might be out of a job soon.
I might. I don't know. I mean, you know.
I think I
have a question. Oh,
all I'm saying is I appreciate being included in real women, because I feel real as well. Anyway.
I always look forward to these challenges because I feel like this is what really like sets apart the men from the boys designer-wise. Like if you can't design for an average person and flatter a woman's body of any shape or size, then you're pretty much a fail.
Right, because in the same sense, like that's more of the market.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when and I get that like these designers and couture and the runway show and it's to make a point and it's this, but it's like a lot of those pieces aren't such ready to wear pieces, or they are, but so many women won't fit into them. So you have to be able to do both. You have to be able to make it look cool but actually be like functional.
Right. Now this may seem like the dumbest question, and it just now hit me, but you know, okay, so you as designers, you design for someone in Amanda's body type, and I know that there's like Gerber technology where they, you know, make the pattern larger and smaller, but like how does that really work?
And does it take more time?
Because, you know, like as you get larger, you don't just like get larger a little, like I mean, I know you get a little bit larger everywhere, but like, you know.
Well, I mean, like for me, which is more so just like I didn't design couture stuff, you know what I mean? It was more so just like tops and stuff. it's really just grading. Like it's a equation. Like it's literally like a small to a medium is like an inch, maybe on the out seams. Like it's literally just, it follows a average that goes around. But the ultimate fit, like the first fit you get, you have a fit model come in, you measure them, then you do the specs of your shirts, you know what I mean? Like someone like Amanda would come in, seriously, and you would do it from them, and you would base either, like from my women's line, we actually wanted to, what we called vanity size it. So a lot of people would make Amanda maybe a medium, because that's what a fit model is, usually the medium, but we would make Amanda the small, so that the women would they would feel like they're buying something like a smaller size. You know what I mean?
Great.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Yeah, that's what we would do. So like our true medium might to some of the other brands be a large. And for me, like, I mean, I'm not like Amanda, but I'm not a large girl either. The fact that I have to wear like extra large in some brands is like ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
but that's how we would, I don't know, like in dresses and stuff, if it's
I think grading is, it's like you said, it's an equation. It's like you add a certain amount of length and a certain amount of width, but it's like, I think that it's retarded that it doesn't stay the same throughout brands. It's like you said, some brands do vanity sizing, some, I think that's stupid. Like, I don't care what size it is, I just want it to look good, and I want to know what size I have to buy.
A lot of women do, though. Like, a lot of women really, like, they won't, like, that's why, because my brand was 80% men's to maybe 20% women's. And I mean, if you mess up, like if a woman goes and buys, like thinks she's a medium and she picks up your medium and she doesn't fit in it, she associates that with not liking the brand. You know what I mean? Like a lot of women, especially the women that shop in the Saks, the Neiman's, like that type of girl, they really do that. And that's why it's, with a brand, it's a lot, unless you're like making dresses and stuff, like it's a lot harder to nail that fit on a woman rather than a man, because they're like, oh, this looks cool, man, sweet t-shirt.
Right,
you know
but
what
at the same time, like now everyone's buying on the internet,
right,
stuff like that. So it's like I feel like get over the number. You know?
But I think it's psychological for women, because if I know I'm a small and I go and the small doesn't fit me, do you really think I'm going to try on a medium? Because automatically I'm just like, okay, I'm not buying that.
No, you're going to go to the next brand and try on their small, and if that fits you, you're going to like that brand better. You're going to give a little bit for the size rather than the print.
But if I really like the top, I would buy it in the next size.
Right, but you're confident with you and your size, and a lot of women, I think that the size of it takes precedence. Like if it's like a close race between the two, they'll take the one that says the size that they want to be rather than the one that they might like a little more.
I just think it's confusing because I don't really care what size it is, but when I go into one store and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a 2 and a 4 to try on, and then I go into another store and I'm like, okay, a 4 or a 6 or an 8, and then I have all these numbers. It's like I could be a 2 in one store and an 8 in another, and it makes absolutely no sense.
And I think it has to do with the country that's making it, because Asia typically is pretty small. Their extra, their size small is like an extra small, so you need to go one size up.
More like 5 usually.
I know.
The country where the brand is being manufactured, or the actual brand is?
Where the brand, who they're appealing to, the market. So like if you go into Abercrombie and Fitch, their sizes are so tiny because it was created for petite girls.
Well, it's like juniors.
And I was just going to say also, that was a good point about where it's from, but also like for sizes, I think that the more true to size items are for the juniors. And then when you go to the women's or,
But also, I mean, like, there's brands, I bet everything on it. You could take one brand, like, I feel like some of that's just the way that it happens too. Like, I've definitely in my years could hold up 2 of my own mediums and they're slightly different. You know what I mean? Like sometimes brands are like that too. So I feel like once you get to know brands, you know how it fits, and then you know your size of that brand, and that's kind of where you start. But I don't think it's an exact science that like every single 2 would fit the same across the board. Like I think that's impossible.
No, I don't think so.
It should be close. You shouldn't be able to have a 2 and an 8 in your closet. Like
I do though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Some brands too have started like Free City. Like some brands do like a number system for their sizing, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I always wanted to do a color system, but it would have been too hard. Yeah, I wanted to do that once,
like
and then
for plus sizes.
Yeah, but it was just like too complicated to do.
Also, one more thing that designers have to take into consideration is the fact that reality TV has become our, celebrity. So a lot of the people on reality TV are the ones dressing what the designers designed. So some are curvaceous, like Kim Kardashian or someone else. So they appeal to now that market. So the regular girl that orders a size small, now it doesn't even fit. Like, I've ordered dresses to sell on my website, and the size small is big. Like, I can't wear a size small. I need, like, probably double X. And when customers order, and I'm like, how do I tell them that the medium is actually, like, a large?
Well, I mean, that's an easy fix. Like, you should just give the specs. Like, most websites that you buy from that says, like, medium measurements are this.
People automatically just go for what they know, medium.
Right. Or they say, like, the model is wearing size whatever. Okay, so anyway, sorry about that whole tangent we just went on.
No,
Let's get back
it was a good
to
tangent. It was an important tangent.
Yeah. Okay, so we have, I totally forgot her name. That really pretty girl. That's
Annie Ford Danielson.
Yes, there it is.
The Global Beauty Authority for Benefit Cosmetics. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. Thanks, Amanda.
Yes.
And so she comes in, and they have this whole little burlesque number. And, Sam said, girl, you got the wrong guy. Because they're dancing all over him, and he's so cute.
Shan was like, I thought this was a family show.
Yeah, that was a little crazy that they had going on.
Yeah.
And they kind of give the whole background of how benefits started, which was very interesting. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
They needed to pinken up those things for you guys that saw the episode.
Things?
You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can say that.
And for those of you who didn't, your imagination is just running wild right now.
Sorry.
Come on, we could say nipple.
We just did.
Okay.
It's not a curse word.
It's not. Sorry.
They wanted rosy
Models
nipples.
feel more comfortable using.
Oh my god. Okay, I asked for it. You guys.
You did.
I could take it. It's okay.
Okay. So they tell them that Benefit is into making quick fix fashion, and so that's what they're going to be doing. And so they bring in these real women to be the models, and they said that they've already strategically or non-strategically decided who's going to work with who. And so Shan gets Brittany, and she says she wants a date night look because she is a mom and she doesn't really have a lot of, flattering clothes for herself. We get Oscar with Danny, and she's a very petite, cute blonde girl, and she wants a gown because she's a pageant girl. Then we get Blake, and he got Rosina, and she says she wants to be more feminine. Sam gets Nora, and she says she just wants a super sexy dress that goes from day to night. And then Asha gets Erin, and she wants a glam, sexy Beyonce dress. Which guys did you think was the most interesting?
I think Oscar with the petite girl, because he seems to kind of always do these like model-esque kind of designs, and I thought that would be a pretty good challenge for him.
Yeah, and she seemed, but she like knew exactly what she wanted. Now, is that harder on you guys because you're like, okay, I know what I want to do, I know what you want to do, and because it's getting so close to the end, like you really want to have your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have actually loved to be a part of this challenge because, like I said, I think it proves that you're a real designer if you can make something for a real person. Sorry.
No, I get it. Actually, you're right. I think it is a mark of a great designer if every size that your clothes are available in look equally as impressive.
It's just that a lot of kind of the newbies and the kids that just get out of school they can make anything, and when they put it on someone like you, it looks great. You just make everything look great. You can make a trash bag look great. So I think it's just harder to
keep going.
Can you wear a trash bag next week?
Hold on, I think I have one.
Next episode.
I will put it on my Instagram.
So I think that, it takes a lot more thought and actual design rather than, oh, this is cool or whatever. So I think it depends on who you're paired with. And I think they did kind of strategically decide to challenge everyone. Like Sam's model wanted a bodycon dress. Well, he doesn't really do that. So I think it was a good challenge for him. I think they really thought out who would work well with who.
And I think it was challenging for Sam as well because, she requested 2 different looks that needed to be combined in one. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen, he usually does really good with the more comfortable look, the casual look, but the dressy look, he tends to play it safe a little, which is what I think he did tonight.
Well, and I think also with him, his like girl is a little bit younger, and she was a little bit, you know, she looked like she was a successful business person, you know, a little bit older, and so I feel like that could have also thrown him off a little.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Mood.
Oh, yeah. When they go shopping, they have $200 budget at Mood.
Yeah.
And they didn't really highlight that trip that much. I didn't really notice that much specifically, like choosing fabric.
They got to measure the models before, or the women before they went. Which
Well, they were models.
Yeah, now they're models.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think we have a caller. Is there someone here?
Caller on the line.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to
How is
AfterBuzz.
everyone?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's so late. I'm really tired. How are you guys?
Oh, are you on the East Coast?
Yes, East Coast. So it's like almost 1.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for staying up to call in.
Oh my God. Anything for you guys.
Aw, we love you, Blake.
So on the line we have
Oh, I love
Blake.
you all.
Blake Smith from Under the Gun. We're so excited to talk to you. What would you say to all your fans out there about your time on the show, and if there's anything you wish you could have changed, or do you feel like you were represented well?
Oh my God.
Get right in
So I don't think that I really had a lot of fans before the show. So definitely I have to thank Under the Gun for introducing me to America so I can actually have what you call fans. So I really, really appreciate all of the really warm support and loving things that I always see on Twitter or Facebook. And I really owe all of my successes to the fans. That's what keeps me going. And as for pretty much, is there anything I could have done differently or would have changed? No, not at all. I definitely feel very strong and valid in all of the choices that I made on the show, and I definitely stick by that.
Blake, what was your favorite challenge while you were on the show?
Favorite challenge? I definitely am going to say the Marie Claire red carpet challenge. I think that my evening gown for that challenge was really strong, and out of anything I did the entire series, I definitely feel like that stayed true to my aesthetic and what I love to do as a designer.
And who was your favorite designer to work with?
Designer to work with as a mentor or as just a fellow
How about you give us both?
Oh.
Okay.
The boy's half asleep. Cut him a break.
Since you're asking, I'm guessing you wanted to change your mentor?
Not necessarily. I will answer the easier of the two questions first. So I definitely love Michelle. I do have a little bit of a favoritism there. I just feel like we, when we first met on the show, it was kind of like kindred spirits at, first time meeting. And I definitely regret that I never had a chance to actually partner and do a team challenge with her. But I mean, she is so amazing, and I've learned so much just by meeting her on the show.
Is there a collaboration in the future?
We hope so.
Oh my God, we've talked about it.
All right, just putting that out there. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We're both very busy right now, so hopefully once things die down, we'll definitely jump into that. And as for the mentors, I mean, I love Anya. I think that she's a very sweet individual, and I definitely learned a lot from her during this experience. I always call her my spiritual guide, so she definitely, if anything, kept me on track with trying to stay true to who I am and stay clear to my vision as a designer. I do feel like, as I specified in the previous challenge for Francesca's, I really did also enjoy teaming up with Mondo. And I feel like if given the opportunity, I would have also learned a really great amount of new tips and tricks from him as well.
I have a question, going back, because I just don't remember. Was there an option for Mondo, and did you pick Anya, or how did that go down? Did Anya pick you? Does anyone remember?
Well, it's funny. I actually went into the series saying if I had to choose between any of the three, it would be Mondo, because I was interested in seeing how far he could test my boundaries and really push me to the limits of, stepping outside of my comfort zones. And actually, all three mentors chose me, and I ended up going with Anya because when
I remember that.
When she was sitting there on the panel, like trying to convince me, I don't know if it was just how eloquent she was, or if I just had an immediate connection with her, but she really resonated with me, and I definitely also felt that she being the only female mentor there, I could definitely learn a lot about how to properly flatter a woman's body and to take into consideration undergarments when I design. Because I'm a male, and sometimes I don't think about bra straps.
Why not? That's what I was saying. I feel like I remembered something like that, and you were saying that from the beginning that you wanted Mondo, but then something made you take her. So that's interesting. And so it was kind of just like in the moment, you changed your mind type situation.
Exactly. Off the cuff, I got up there. They all three wanted me, and I was like, okay, Mondo. And then I was like, wait, I don't know. Something's gravitating towards Anya. So I went with my gut, and, I'm happy with my choice.
What was the most challenging scenario in tonight's episode? Having to work with real live women who you
now she's dead.
Sorry, we have a model in here, so we just want a comparison. What are some of the challenges?
She killed me, so I'm just kidding.
Hilarious. What was the most challenging part of this challenge in particular? It really, for me, working with real women is an amazing experience. I mean, that's what we as designers do day to day anyway, and especially myself. I work at Kohl's, so I'm working on clothing that real people wear every day. And so I really went into this thinking, how can I elevate my client, Rosina, and really take her from the ugly duckling complex, as she said, and bring her to the swan. And I really felt that I did that. I would have to say the most challenging aspect of working on this challenge was just the fact that you have a client to please. So it's not just about going into it with, okay, this is my design and this is what I want, and I'm going to do what I want. You kind of have to make sure that you ease your client into unfamiliar territory, and also make sure that you're addressing the challenge at the same time.
I think that, watching this challenge, kind of watching the clients, I think that a lot of women think they know what looks good on them, but it doesn't. So as a designer, you kind of have to be like, hey, this is not the way to go. This is better. And you have to kind of, do it in a way that they will, want to hear that.
Right. And I think Mondo did a good job when he was with Asha. He was there when the girl was like, oh, you don't have any studs or you don't have any this. And he was like, no, this is really what's going to look good on you. And I think that was really important because, I feel like also I've seen a lot of times on the show when they do bring in the real women, they're so adamant about I know this is going to look good on me. And then they fight with a designer and the designer kind of has a meltdown because, they're thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't please her, they're going to throw me under the bus on the runway. So, but it looked like all of y'all's models were really nice.
They all look
happy.
Yes,
I mean, we were very lucky, or at least I feel we were lucky. I think Shan, if anyone, had a little bit of the short end of the stick, just with all of the drama with the being allergic to sequins. But other than that, I definitely feel like all of the models, let me rephrase, all of the real clients were really beautiful, and they were such a pleasure to work with. So especially my model, I loved Rosina, and I think that she is such a wonderful person. And I really took that away from the challenge as well, is that I pride myself on having made her happy at the end of the day.
Well, Blake, I don't know about you, but I thought Rosina had the best benefit makeover. Her makeup and hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought she looked really adorable in your dress. I thought she looked very girly and fun. And, like, when she walked out, I was like, who is that? So that was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that she had a transformation as well. And, I mean, watching this on TV, you definitely see things that you didn't see in the heat of the moment. Like, Michelle, I'm sure, can attest to this. Like, you get in there and you're, like, in it, and then those last 5 minutes before you hit the runway, you really have to make sure that you edited everything perfectly, and then sometimes you're just so into it, into the process, that you might overlook things. And with my mistake, I overlooked the thickness of the waistband I created, therefore making Rosina look a little bit more blocky and not really defining her waist like I should have. So I definitely feel like she had a really beautiful benefit babe kind of transformation, but definitely little tweaks could have been made to make it more perfect.
Did they get to keep the dresses?
I don't even know, to be honest. I believe that everything is owned by the production company, so I'm not so sure that they got to keep the dresses.
Blake, do you agree with the judges' criticism for yourself or for any of the other designers? Or do you think they were being a little bit unfair because you guys were trying to please the client and they were contradicting what the client wanted?
That's a really good question. I definitely always try to see both sides of the story and definitely take into every aspect everyone's personal opinion on our looks that we create. However, I always do see little things that I disagree with from the judges. I feel like our judging panel this season, they all really appreciate a very commercial, sexier side of fashion. And I feel like, if you'll notice, those are the people who are always called out in a positive light, the ones that definitely have a very understandable version of fashion. And, you know, sometimes I disagree with that because as a designer, I pride myself, especially on being more of an artistic type of designer. And so everything I create isn't always the most easily translatable to everyday life. So with that being said, I tried going into this challenge to take my aesthetic as a designer and interject that into my look, and they just saw it as being sloppy instead of where I thought it was really beautiful with the raw edge finishing. So I disagreed with that in particular.
Well, Blake, I agree with you with that because I think I noticed throughout the season that sometimes we really were like watching the models come down the runway and writing things down about how we felt about the dress, and a lot of the time we were like, wow, we like really responded to something, and then the judges like hate it.
Yeah,
I completely agree. I feel like I went in thinking like, oh, they're looking for something new, innovative, like the next thing, and then I felt like, no, they just like what the trend is. And I'm like, you can't design like what the trend is. If you do that, you're too late. Like,
I think too that
you're too late.
Yeah,
it's over.
You're behind.
Yeah. And I think too what we have mentioned a few times when that happened, when we're all like love it and they hate it, or we hate it and they love it, is how much of it really, how Michelle, you were saying tonight that sometimes the colors look really different live than on TV, and some of the construction might look better or worse. You know what I mean? So I think all that probably plays into everything.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
it's a definite factor. I mean, it's really lovely being on TV, let me tell you, but sometimes it definitely doesn't translate like it is in real life. And sometimes TV can enhance so that it makes it look even more beautiful than it is in person, and that has happened multiple times on our show. Or, you know, in my case tonight, I feel like my watercolor print that I chose just kind of read a little muddled. So you didn't really appreciate all the beauty in there. So it really can work twofold.
Now, was there anything that you, as you've been watching, kind of threw you off guard that you didn't see while you were actually being filmed?
I mean, there are so many aspects to this competition. I mean, like hours and hours of footage that is either manipulated or dropped completely, and you're like, wait, where the hell did that go? Like, I mean, it's kind of like you're watching this experience and you almost don't realize that you lived it because it's being played in a different light sometimes.
Is there something in particular you're thinking of?
I mean, there are so many things in particular. Like, I mean, on the one hand, I will jump back for the past few episodes. I feel like, you know, America has been in this big uproar over Natalya being a scapegoat in this competition, and I
Tell me about it.
Me personally, being there and experiencing it, I never felt that, and I never experienced that firsthand. And there again, I wasn't in each individual interview with the designers to hear what was being said, but I know what I personally said, and I know what I said around Natalya in front of everyone. And no one ever bullied, no one ever attacked her about anything. I feel like the closest that ever came to was when Asha and Natalya were paired together, and they just weren't jiving. Like, that happens in real life. Anytime that you're working together as a team, you're never always going to expect to fully come together in agreement on everything. You're going to butt heads, especially if you're creative people. So I don't ever think that there was a point in time in this competition where Natalya was being under attack. And, you know, it's very unfortunate that some of the designers have been criticized for something that never really even took place.
Yeah, I
definitely...
I mean, I was going to say, I looked online because we have a lot of, you know, our viewers, and some people said, oh, you guys are, you know, you're attacking Natalya. And then I was looking into it because I was like, man, are we really being that mean to her? But then I saw a tweet from Tim Gunn, and he had this whole spiel that he wrote about how, you know, he was there the whole time and nobody bullied her. And, you know, everybody needs to stop this because it's getting out of hand and it's becoming ridiculous because, you know, he would never bully anybody. And, you know, Tim is just such a great guy. I feel like, you know, if he said that, then it's absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, there's just a little bit of a pity party going on.
Well, and yeah, I mean, well, I guess this is opening a can of worms, so I won't go too left. But like, just because someone cries all the time doesn't mean that people are picking on them. I mean, really,
it's the truth. Because if she would have just like retaliated the way like Sandro did, it would have been a completely different story.
Well, I mean, Sandro went a little bit to an extreme in his retaliation,
but it's the same thing. If she would have just backed herself up, it would have been different.
Just like answered through her talent, like made something better than that was actually constructed better. This like didn't give people reason to pick on her and to be like, why are you crying again? And like she cried at least twice every episode. Come on. Am I wrong? Wait, why is everyone so silent all of a sudden?
No, you're right.
Come on. Come on, you're all saying the same thing.
At the same time, we have to remember it is reality TV, and the producers can manipulate it however they want to gain viewership.
Right, but then don't call that anyone else being a bully. That's just reality. That's what you sign up for, going on a reality TV show.
But people, when they watch the show, they don't take all that into consideration.
Yeah.
Some people just don't know production and reality TV. Even though, yes, it is a show, it's a design show, at the end of the day, we have to be honest. It's a reality TV.
Right.
They know who they want. The judges, you know who they're going to pick. And sometimes we disagree with it because...
So you're trying to say it's fixed?
Somewhat, yes.
I don't think so.
What do you guys think?
For me, I think, like...
They had it out for you. You were bullied, Michelle. That's why you're not on the show anymore. You too, Blake. Shit. You guys should start a brand called Bully.
Personally, I think, like, people that I know want to tune in to watch, like, the show for awesome fashion. They want to see, like, something new and awesome and inspiring and amazing.
Agree.
I don't
go to this show for drama. Right. I mean, I get that there is reality TV and the producers want to spark that.
There's real drama in like trying to produce a garment in one day.
Like, I would rather see drama like tonight in Shan having some girl that's sorry, am I screaming? I'm a little stuffed up. But I would rather see like drama like tonight, like Shan's girl got freaking allergic reaction. He had to fix it. Like, that's interesting drama.
It has to do with
Like,
the design. He's trying to solve a problem. He's faced with this dilemma.
And it has to do with
it's something real.
Life, how it really happened.
And how many of us
make it work moment?
How many of us kept saying each episode, why isn't Talia still there? She doesn't know how to time manage. She at the end, the last minute,
she's probably sleeping with somebody.
Oh my god! You know, she keeps on coming out with designs that you're just looking at it. You're like, how is this girl passing on to the next? Level if she can't construct a dress and all she does is she keeps on knitting. So yes, I do think that is reality TV, and it was fixed because they needed someone to make the show a little bit more interesting. I'm not saying that about everyone else. I'm just saying there is pieces in there which are fixed because they need.
I think Natalia did some of it to herself, though. I think that if she, like, her attitude and her crying and her drama kind of made you almost be like, really, really, really. Rather, if she would have had a good attitude, like, I don't think her dresses sucked or anything.
But wait. It would have just been interesting to see the show if it were done by a different production company. I like how it is now, but I mean, it would just be interesting to see if it were done more like a documentary versus like drama.
Well,
But
I would also like to see like blind judging, because I think that there's always like human bias involved, like no matter if you try or not. And I think like for me, the dress I went home on, like if Sam or someone else would have made that dress, would they have gone home? I don't think so, because it was boring compared to myself. It wasn't boring, but it was boring compared to what I normally do.
So you mean that the judges don't know who designed which one?
I think that would be.
They've done that. They did that on the like two Project Runways ago. They started doing that because people were saying that.
It's just a natural. You know, you have a natural human bias that just happens, and I think it'd be like a lot more interesting.
I agree. Blake, was there any judge that was your favorite then? Since we're speaking of judges.
Favorite judge, and you're asking me after I said that the judges didn't understand me. So listen, I feel like
or you can pick worst.
The best. I feel like I got the best responses, or that I took as positive feedback and constructive criticism. I feel like that was from Rachel Roy. I feel like everything that she had to say to me was well thought out, and it came from a place where I respected, because she's also a fellow designer, and I definitely felt like she didn't sometimes go in the same direction as Jen Raid would, where she just pretty much didn't like it only because it's not her taste. I feel like Rachel was able to disconnect her personal opinions of fashion and what was good or not, or successful or not.
That's what I've been thinking. Oh, sorry.
Great.
Blake, if for some reason...
I took that in a positive.
If for some reason this whole fashion thing doesn't work out for you, which I think it's gonna, you'd be a great politician. The way you just answered that.
And you know, it's so funny that you say that, because every time I went to interview, the producers would be like, Blake, how do you really feel? You're being so political. I'm like, I swear this is how I really feel.
Well, I've been noticing that with the judges, too. I keep saying, they've got Xana Roberts-Rossi from Marie Claire. They've got Jen Raid, the stylist. And Tim Gunn, he's sort of kind of judging, but he's just sort of mentoring. He's not really weighing in as much. I wish Tim Gunn would be a more harsh judge. That would be more interesting to me. But I like that Rachel Roy is there, because and I'm going to ask Michelle what she thinks, too. But I think having more, like, actual fashion designers judging it week to week would be more beneficial, and maybe just one.
I totally agree.
Yeah, maybe one stylist or one fashion editor. But those are very different jobs than creating the actual garments and selling them and having a successful brand. So what do you feel like, Michelle?
I think there's two things. I think one is delivery. So Jen Raid just kind of stabs you in the face with her comments, so it's very hard for you to
smile.
Right, it's hard for you to like even listen to what she's saying because of that. So you're just kind of automatically in defense mode. And I think with Rachel Roy, she wants to help you. She wants to give you constructive criticism so that you can grow, and like actually she delivers it in a way that you're like, oh, okay, I can understand it from that point of view, and like learn from that and absorb it and kind of like consider it. As opposed just to being like on defense the whole time. So I think there's that. And then secondly, I think designers, like, I feel like the judges never got me either, but I felt like all the designers got me. So I feel like
I agree.
it's coming from a different place, like stylists. Yeah, that's, to me, it's definitely like a legit job, but you're coming from a different place. And you're coming from that trendy place. And you're also like, if you're dressing celebrities, that's not the everyday person that you can sell to. It's a totally different market.
Well, and red carpet is not real life, and it's not what people are going to necessarily buy at the store.
And it's totally valid. It's just like, that's not what you should focus. You shouldn't just focus on one customer every challenge. You know, like you should have a range of, you know.
Jen made a comment tonight which I disagreed with, but as designers I want to get your input on it as well. She said between Asha and Shan that she would rather keep Asha because she can improve her construction, but she has the vision and the style, versus Shan, who had the better construction, but he doesn't have that vision. What do you guys think?
Was she comparing Asha and Shan, or was she comparing?
Yes, the winners. Because it's like, if you have great construction, you can be inspired by different things, and at the moment, maybe, you know, you were inspired a certain way. So which one would you go with? The construction or the vision?
Vision.
It's very difficult because I feel like multiple times in this competition, you can easily tell that someone is really great at construction, and that masks the whole aspect that there's a lack of design there.
Are you talking about Oscar?
Oh, no.
I mean, I love Oscar. I mean, to death. He is hands down hilarious, genuine, such a character. However, I multiple times have said to him, as well as to others, I feel like Oscar is an amazing candidate for costume design. I feel like as an innovator, as a designer, I feel like it's very, to me, when I look at his fashion, I definitely relate it to something I've already seen before, and it's a little dated. Not to say that there's not a customer out there, because his stuff will sell like hotcakes. However, do I feel like sometimes his amazing, impeccable construction put him in the top over his design? Yes.
Okay.
I think that's very fair to say.
But you can also, you can teach construction. You can't teach creativity. You can't teach someone to have a vision, or you can hire somebody else like Oscar to construct your vision.
That's true, but this is like a competition where you need to know how to construct. If you want to say that, you can say Natalia should have won for her floppy dress too, but I mean, you have to have all of it to compete in this type of show. And I think like
for that, in life though, I thought I think
it was the overall question.
Yeah, I think the overall question, I feel like, is the vision.
Yeah, because that was the question she was getting down to.
True. You have to be able to do both
the end. Because when they were looking at like who should go home or who should win, they were saying like in the future who would be, you know, more successful.
Right.
But that's so hard. You can't. There's so many more like aspects to it. You can't just say someone has a vision and not construction, and someone doesn't. Because I think Shan definitely has a vision. And I think, like, with those two dresses, Shan definitely won because it looks good on TV, it looks good in photographs, like, there's color there.
Well, I think, too, it was a little bit unfair because Shan had, like, his original idea might have been a lot more vision, but she was allergic. Who's allergic to sequins? Come on, who is allergic to shiny?
Hello.
But you know what I mean?
Could you imagine if Oscar would have got that chick?
But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was a little bit of an unfair comparison. But we do have, go ahead.
Yeah, we do have to wrap it up, though. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but we have a few more minutes left to wrap up the whole episode.
I want to say one last thing, though, because you guys made me think of it, and it's a good point. I just want to say, I agree with you. I've noticed that I think when Tim is in the workroom and he says, you really want to wow the judges this time, you really want to impress them, it's a different impressing, it's like a different thing that you want to show them than if you were on Project Runway showing to Michael Kors and Nina Garcia and Heidi.
Yeah. It's a presentation, you know? It's the whole package. So it's like you wouldn't take like a badly constructed garment and show it to a client and be like, here you go. Like they would just be like, no, you're fired. Like whether you construct it or not, I think it's just like it's your presentation.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's get down to the sad
yeah, so I'm so sorry, Blake. We are just going to keep going and talking with you on the line because we have to go through everything because we do want to wrap it up. So anyway, so we talked about how Shan had the really bad problem with Brittany. She had the hives. And let's just talk about the runway really quick. Everybody give their opinions. Okay. Asha. Okay, now the fabric looked really awful on our point of view. How did it look for you in person?
In person, I have to say the idea was there, the construction, terrible. And I mean, when it comes down to it, you're fitting on a real body, like a real person. There's more curves that we don't have on our models. So it is a little bit more difficult to get that fit perfected, but I definitely feel like Asha was definitely being over ambitious there and just could not make it work for this challenge.
But I think part of it was the straps. They were just pulling a lot of things.
It's just too much, for sure, yeah.
Okay, and then anybody else have any opinions on that dress? I was not the biggest fan of it.
It did look better on the runway. Like, it did kind of glitter on the lights and stuff.
Yeah. I liked from the boobs up, like the neckline and everything was really flattering.
Exactly.
I thought that really did a lot of good things for her body to like bring the focus up there, because that's like, you know, you want to highlight your beautiful neckline and bodacious bod, let's just say.
I wasn't a fan of the color. I think, you know, with her skin tone, she needed something a little bit more vibrant to bring out the glamour in her. You know, because she had a lot of personality, and I felt like the color just made that personality go away until at the end she busted move. You know, Beyonce movie. Like,
I'm gonna say,
the dancing definitely saved her. Yeah.
Model or not, man, she's given the most life I've seen out of anyone on that runway.
He was giving the most life, and a little tidbit, it definitely helped with Asha's scoring, I feel, because the judges said, you know, the construction is not there, but we're definitely willing to overlook it because your model is living in this garment. So it just goes to show you that sometimes it is, as Michelle has said, it's all about just the presentation. Like, if you have a model that'll go there and work it, you immediately forget some of the other details.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on to Sam. He had the dress that had the black panels going down the middle with the gray print. The judges weren't too much of a fan of it. Everybody pretty much said it was boring. Did it look that boring in person?
To be honest,
I love Sam. It wasn't a circle skirt,
like it was.
Sorry.
I do feel like it was a little bit on the boring side. I feel like from Sam, you know, it didn't, to me, feel like it had the essence of who he is as a designer, and I felt like the fit just wasn't there either. The sleeves were awkward. It was a little bit out of left field for me for Sam.
And the neckline as well.
The fit was tragic.
Yeah. Okay.
It was horrible.
So we've already talked about your look. Oscars, I mean, it was a gorgeous dress, but way dated.
We've seen it so many times.
Concerts and tiaras.
Well, you saw him make it for the red carpet challenge also.
Yeah, we've seen that before. And then lastly was Shan's. Sorry, we do have to keep going.
Okay.
Lastly was Shan's, and I thought that dress was so fun and flirty. Did the model, like, she seemed so happy. What was it like in person?
Oh my God, yeah, it was super cute, super accessible, and also very commercial, which is Shan to a T. I definitely feel like you could tell that was the one that was made in the final hour, but at the same time, it didn't matter because his model loved it, it fit her to a T, and at the end of the day, it was all about that presentation as well.
I didn't like it at first, and I made a comment which I take back. Seeing it having it on the model walking down the runway was completely different, and I disagree with the judges. I think the belt was a great accessory added on the dress.
Yeah.
I do too.
I like the belt.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, and I liked that
because if it didn't have the belt, it would have been like a cow. Like I
would have been like a muumuu.
Yeah.
So much print.
But I loved when she walked out, she looked like she lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
That dress really slimmed her down. So it was beautiful.
It
was
really
modern, it was bold.
Okay.
And I think it fit the challenge.
Or it showed off what she already had, is what I should say. She's gorgeous.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Shan ended up winning both the benefit prize and the winner of the whole challenge.
Yes.
Loved it. Okay, hey Blake, so just a few more questions for you. Who is your girl? Like, I always ask that for our designers. Like, who is your person you're designing for?
My girl, oh my goodness. Well, I always love to say that I design clothing for the more artistic individual who is willing to experiment with her style, and she's not really looking to wear very basic pieces. She's always looking for elevated, more fantastical kind of fashion. I love to transport my girl into a different world where she's taken away from all of the negativity and craziness that we experience every day. So I definitely love to dress, actually, pretty much my client tonight, Rosina. Like, she definitely has that really beautiful, ethereal look to her. She's smart. She's fun, and she's also very artistic, and I feel like that was a great match for me.
Does anybody have any other last questions for Blake?
What are you working on now, Blake? What's next?
Working on now? Well, I am still working full-time at Kohl's for the LC Lauren Conrad brand.
Lauren Conrad!
I love it.
Yeah.
I love those dresses.
You saved that for the end?
I know.
That's so exciting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then, I know, right? And
yeah,
then
way to bury the lead.
I'm sorry?
I said, way to bury the lead, like 40 minutes into the interview.
Hilarious. And then on my own personal time, I've just been working on developing, hopefully, a little capsule collection that I can debut later this September for Fashion Week.
Ooh. Sweet.
Congratulations.
And you're in New York, correct?
I am in New York.
Are you from there?
I am originally from Georgia.
Oh,
nice.
Georgia peach.
Okay, one last question.
Good old Southern boy.
That's how you're so political.
Yeah.
So polite.
Oh, where are you going to be watching the finale?
Probably from my little one-bedroom apartment.
Nice.
With my roommate, where I've been all season long.
Aww. Well, you can definitely call in then, and we definitely want to talk some more. But we are pretty much done here. Where can everybody find you? Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, or website?
Oh, my God. Everywhere. I'm on Twitter at Roy Blake Smith, my full name. Also on Facebook, Blake Smith. Instagram, I'm RoyBoy8888.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Blake.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's been fun.
And sorry, viewers, that this was such a quick episode recap, but, you know, we got to talk to Blake for forever, so it was kind of nice. Emma, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on emmakcloset.com, also Instagram, Twitter at RealEmmaK.
You guys can find me, Amanda Fields, on Twitter and Instagram at The Runway Queen.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Stef Z.
You can find me on Twitter at Uberreste, and my website is michelleUberreste.com.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Virginia Reyna. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Have a buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.